Well, a big highball and hello to all the model railroaders and rail fans out there, and welcome to the April 2021 update of my Missouri Pacific switching layout. Hey, as always, a big thanks to those who have subscribed to my channel, and for those new to the channel, my layout is based on Missouri Pacific Railroad operations in Fort Smith, Arkansas during the 1970s era. Happy to say the layout is progressing and model railroading life is starting to get back to normal. In fact, with me and my model railroading buddy now vaccinated against COVID, I was able to have him over for the first time in over a year. Man, it was great to see him again. And nothing says welcome back better than running the very first operating session on my layout, but I'm happy to report, with the exception of some minor issues, things ran really smoothly. And speaking of operations, as promised in the last video, we're going to be doing a little bit of switching before this program is over. Now, in my last episode, I'd prepared Scenic Express super trees for adding foliage, so as you see here, I've completed and added trees and underbrush to some of the areas of the layout. And for the underbrush, it's pretty easy. Basically, all you do is you take a little bit of the scenic tree material, tear it into small sections and add the leaves to it. And a matter of fact, that's really kind of key to getting a really nice sort of forest or wild growth look, is to make sure you have that underbrush in there between your trees. Now, I'm modeling early fall, so I used kind of a base color of late summer green super leaves, followed by a small amount of orange and yellow leaves, just kind of applied randomly. Now, in past layouts, I used materials like Woodland Scenic's ground foliage, sprinkled with ground foam, to kind of simulate tree leaves. But for this layout, I decided to use the Scenic Express super leaves and was really happy with the results. Now, initially, I thought the material looked a little oversized for HO scale leaves, but I tell you, once the trees were done, and I saw the finished product, I'm really pretty well hooked on this Scenic Express super leaf product. I've also been working on the spurs for the Petit Jean Lumber Company. That's going to go in the area here in the foreground next to the Cotton Belt boxcar, and also a defunct industry spur that's been turned into a team track. And you kind of see that if you look off to the left foreground just a bit. All the track work is complete and functioning except for one industry spur that I'm going to put in later this month. Now, in this image, you see kind of in the background there, that is the Future Colonial Bread Baking Company. And the kit's not complete yet. The building is made by a company called ITLA, or ITLA. They're based in Canada, and they do some fantastic wood kit products. Now, the problem I'm running into, as you see here, is the window. That kind of presents a problem as far as realistic background. So I've considered ways to block the lower part of the window from view. One option I've considered is to make a very short sky color backdrop and place it over the window and the window crown molding. Another option I've considered is just to move the Colonial Bread Baking building altogether and maybe just put, some natural scenery and hills in front of the window, or maybe some buildings, something like that. But anyway, I tell you, if you have any suggestions about, ways to block the window, be sure to let me know in those comments, because this is the first time I've run into this problem, and I'd really like to know what other people have done. But certainly the most exciting accomplishment is I've got the layout to the stage where I can run trains. In fact, I see it's almost time for the Fort Smith local to arrive at the yard. So let's head on down and do a little rail fanning. welcome to Mail Delivery. This is a new segment I'm adding to the program where we take some of the questions and comments that you've left on YouTube and discuss them. Okay, Bruce comments, did the board cup? Maybe it didn't because you glued it down a day or two before painting. And actually this comes from making roads with foam video that I have out there, my how-to video. And to answer your question, no, it didn't cup. And what I did is I glued the foam down before doing anything to it with full strength Mod Podge. I mean, you can use white glue, that's fine too. Just any glue that's safe for foam. And I let it dry about 12-24 hours before doing anything to it. Now you do want to like weight it down. You can also take thumbtacks and hold it down that way, but it'll create these little holes in there. So you do have to go back and take just a little bit of spackle and cover those holes up before proceeding. So, but I would recommend probably some weights on it. But again, the key is gluing it down, waiting about 12-24 hours to make sure it's secure. Our next comment is from ATSF, and he writes, another safety issue is with basement model railroads. Don't be using stuff near pilot lights, on the furnace, or water heater. And I tell you, I really appreciate that comment. And this comes from one of the videos, I can't remember which one now, but I talked about using a respirator when using paint or cleaner or anything to protect those lungs. And the other thing you have to consider is, if you have your model railroad in an area where there's open flame, like a hot water heater, some of these products are flammable, and it's not going to be a good thing if you get that product near there. So great safety tip. I really appreciate that. Our final comment is from They Make It Like That. And he writes, model from the real world. Why? Because they make it like that. I tell you, what a great comment. And it's the same thing like I said in my how-to video on the making roads is, the trick to getting great scenery, great looking weathering on your rolling stock and locomotives is really just model from the real world. If you do that, if you take images and use these as an example of when you're doing your work, you're going to have a fantastic looking layout, fantastic looking rolling stock, and incredible looking locomotives. So great comment there. Absolutely love it. Well, thanks to everyone who commented and asked questions on my channel. Again, I appreciate that. I want to hear the feedback, and I'm certainly glad to answer any questions you might have. So just keep them coming. But hey, just stick around. I'm going to have a sort of a sneak preview of what's coming in my program next month, and we're going to be going on a little field trip. So again, I think it's going to be something you like. So stick around for that.